The Zephilon Empire had conquered 47 star systems in less than a century. Their battlecruisers were legendary, their warriors unmatched, their technology centuries ahead of most civilizations. When their scouts discovered Earth, a small blue planet orbiting an unremarkable star, they saw nothing more than another primitive world ripe for subjugation. Commander Canet stood on the bridge of the flagship Eternal Dominion, his forearms crossed in satisfaction as he reviewed the tactical data. Beside him, his second-in-command, a human named Bella, studied the holographic display with an expression he couldn't quite decipher. Bella had been captured from a human colony ship 3 years ago. Unlike other conquered species who cowered or raged, she had simply smiled and asked if the Zephilons needed a cultural advisor. Her audacity had intrigued Canet enough to keep her alive. Now she served as his liaison for understanding lesser species. "The transmission is ready, Commander," announced the communications officer. Canet straightened his battle armor and activated the broadcast. His image would soon beam across every screen on Earth, translated into their primitive languages. "People of Earth, I am Commander Canet of the Zephilon Empire. Your world has been selected for integration into our domain. Surrender within 1 solar rotation or face annihilation. Your primitive weapons cannot—" A strange sound interrupted him. Bella was shaking, her hand covering her mouth. She was laughing. "Silence!" Canet roared. "What mockery is this?" Bella tried to compose herself, tears streaming down her face. "I'm sorry, Commander. It's just, you have no idea what you've done. I have declared your species subjugation. That is what I have done." "No," Bella said, her laughter fading into something more serious. "You've declared war on humanity, on Earth. And that, Commander, is the funniest and most tragic mistake you could possibly make." Canet's translator implant struggled with her tone. It detected sympathy, sadness, and something else. Pity. Within hours, Earth's response arrived. It wasn't a surrender. It wasn't even a military counter-threat. It was a single video message from the United Earth Defense Council, and it was broadcast on all frequencies, so the entire Zephilon fleet could see it. An elderly human woman sat at a desk looking tired. "To the Zephilon Empire, we received your declaration of war. We need you to understand something about humanity before you proceed. We are a species that invented nuclear weapons and used them on ourselves. We are a species that survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and our own worst impulses. We turned our deadliest planet in the known galaxy into our home." She paused, letting that sink in. "You see, Commander Canet, Earth isn't a paradise. It's a death world. Our gravity is crushing by galactic standards. Our atmosphere is corrosive oxygen. Our oceans are filled with apex predators. Our land with megafauna that would terrify your warriors. We evolved by outcompeting everything that tried to kill us, and everything tried to kill us." Canet watched, his confidence wavering. Bella stood beside him, her expression grim. The woman continued. "We have a saying, 'Hell hath no fury like a human scorned.' You're about to learn what that means. You have 72 hours to withdraw from Earth's orbital space. After that, we cannot guarantee your safety." The transmission ended. Canet turned to Bella. "This is a bluff. We have weapons that can crack continents. We have shields that can—" "Commander," Bella interrupted quietly, "I need to show you something." She pulled up Earth's historical database, information the Zephilons had dismissed as primitive mythology. Bella displayed images of human history, warriors fighting with crude metal and stone, wars that consumed entire generations, weapons of mass destruction, environmental disasters, and through it all, humans surviving, adapting, thriving. We're persistence hunters, Commander. When we decide something needs to die, we follow it until it collapses from exhaustion. When we decide to survive, nothing can stop us. And when we go to war, she met his eyes. We don't fight to win. We fight to ensure our enemy can never threaten us again. Canet laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. You expect me to fear primitives who've barely left their own star system? No, Bella said softly. I expect you to fear primitives who've survived everything their own. Nightmare world threw at them for millions of years, and still looked up at the stars and decided to reach them. Anyway, the 72 hours passed. Canet, against his better judgment but unwilling to appear weak before his empire, ordered the attack to commence. Earth's response was immediate and overwhelming. The Zephilons expected conventional warfare, Missiles, lasers, kinetic weapons. What they got was something entirely different. Humans didn't just fight back. They fought dirty. They hacked Zephilon computer systems using quantum algorithms that shouldn't have been possible with their technology. They weaponized their own satellites, turning orbital debris into devastating projectile storms. They deployed biological agents specifically engineered to target Zephilon physiology. Agents created not in months or years, but apparently stockpiled for decades in anticipation of first contact, going exactly this wrong. But worse than the weapons was the humans themselves. Zephilon boarding parties found themselves facing enemies who didn't retreat, didn't surrender, and seemed to feel no fear. Human soldiers fought with a ferocity that unnerved even the battle-hardened Zephilon warriors. They used their own bodies as shields for their comrades. They smiled as they triggered explosive devices. They sang songs as they charged into certain death. Within a week, the Zephilon fleet had lost 30% of its ships. Within 2 weeks, Conet received word that 3 human vessels, cobbled together from mining equipment and civilian transports, had somehow tracked down and destroyed a Zephilon supply convoy 3 star systems away. Conet stood on his bridge, watching his empire's greatest fleet fall apart against a species that wasn't supposed to be able to fight back. Bella stood beside him, her expression sad. "I tried to warn you," she said quietly. "How?" Conet whispered. "How are they doing this?" Bella looked at the view screen where Earth hung like a blue marble. Beautiful, deadly, and utterly unconquerable. "Because we're humans, Commander. We're the species that looked at every predator on our planet and decided we were the apex. We're the species that survived extinction events and thrived. We invented the concept of overkill and made it an art form." She turned to him, and for the first time, Conet saw not a captive advisor, but a warrior of a species he'd gravely underestimated. "You declared war on Earth and expected surrender. We declared war on gravity, entropy, disease, death itself, and we're winning. You were just another challenge." Conet issued the retreat order that night. The Zephilon Empire, for the first time in its history, withdrew from a conquest. As the flagship jumped to hyperspace, Bella looked back at Earth one last time. Somewhere down there, her people were celebrating, rebuilding, and preparing, because that's what humans did. They survived, and they remembered. The galaxy would learn, as the Zephilons had, that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their tactics. It was their absolute, stubborn, terrifying refusal to give up, ever. They had declared war on Earth and gotten laughter in response, not because humans didn't take the threat seriously, but because humanity had faced extinction 1,000 times before, and they were still here. The end.